believe say if the Electoral Commission use them as criteria for register and votes inside the next election, plenty Salone people no go able for register and votes.
Section 31 of our Constitution is very clear that there are 3 criteria for you to be registered. 1, you must be a citizen. 2, you must be 18 years or above, and you must be of sound mind. Mr. Speaker, no law in our Constitution says you must have NIN number before you are registered. Whenever we want to introduce any law that is at variance with the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, we know that it is treasonable to change the Constitution without going through the due process. In a country of over 7 million people, Mr. Speaker, will be depriving well over 5 million people from participating in the exercise if NIN becomes a compulsory requirement for registration.
Honorable Ibrahim Tawa Conte from Constituency 132 na Lumley, where they represent SLPP, being disagree with Honorable Abdul Kagbo on the figure of Salone people, whether at the National Civil Registration Authority and database, we get national identification number.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me also correct this. That the NCRA database does not have 1.5 million Sierra Leoneans. It has over 6 million Sierra Leoneans, representing 90% plus of the country, including my children. The essence for which the National Civil Registration was established is to ensure that the threshold for justifying citizenship in Sierra Leone is progressive and it is sustained. So the inclusion of NIN number as a requirement in the voter register is by no means abrogating or undermining the 3 specific provisions under Section 31.
Honorable Ibrahim Tawa Conte believes say proportional representation not new and the use of national identification number from the National Civil Registration Authority as criteria for register and vote inside the next election not they against the law.
Nobody is introducing NIN. NIN is legal and NIN is a justifiable identifier for a citizen of this country. That is one, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, 2, nobody is introducing PR. PR is part of the constitutional body of Sierra Leone. So for me, I would say, before taking my seat, Mr. Speaker, that we have a good law before us, and we have to ensure that we take our responsibility under Section 44. And in this Constitution as well, it says in Section 74(1) or so, that 1 member of Parliament for each district.
The National Grand Coalition NGC party not get issue with the use of the national identification number, according to the Deputy Leader of Parliament for NGC, Honorable Fode Mario Kamara, but in party doubt the capacity of the National Civil Registration Authority for give national identification number to all Salone persons were eligible for votes.
Mr. Speaker, let's do away with this NIN. It's not good for this country. In fact, it is a disgrace. For several years now, this country does not have a national identity card. And even when it was introduced years back, people could not access the national identity card. So if the government is not capable of providing the citizens with ID cards, why do we want to bring things like this? So let us wait until we reach the stage when we can provide the people with what they need to be citizens in this country. If there was no problem in the past with the way people were being registered, why do we want to introduce an obstacle that will disenfranchise some of our citizens?
With all the view and opinion on the bill from the ruling and from the opposition MPDM, the Member of Parliament from Constituency 089, na Bont District, where they represent the SLPP party, where same way so na the Deputy Speaker na Parliament, Honorable Sege Paul Solomon Thomas, say the Public Election Bill 2022 get good provision them, we go give strength to democracy na Salone if them pass them to law.
I will start by urging members of Parliament to pass this bill into law. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this bill. The only thing that is wrong with this bill is the misconception or the preconceived fears or opinions relating to what will happen. This bill is not about the PR system. Reference is only made in 57 to that system. It is not about the PR system. Let's look at the bill as it is. All what this bill is seeking to do in the first place. One is to make removal of an electoral commissioner very, very difficult. What is undemocratic about that? Another issue this bill is seeking to do is to fix a date. Before this time, the date for elections depended on the heartbeat of somebody. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to take my time to refer to those issues that are so important in this bill, the issues that are so democratic.
Honorable Segepo Solomon Thomas been continue for give reason them why he thinks say MP them for pass this bill into law and why he thinks say a good for democracy. But after 7 hours of debate inside the Thursday sitting by MP them on this bill, the speaker been closed sitting for the day and announced Monday, July 18 this year as other day for debate on the Public Elections Bill 2022. For the Society for Radio Democracy, Musa Kamara, the report.
Well, from that report in our parliament, 7:43 at the time from the studio clock, and as we tell you earlier, now and the headline story them. Well, we know say Parliament they continue for debate the Public Elections Bill 2022, and we continue for talk to more people but the position on this particular bill, we remember in our Parliament they continue for debate. And I want to introduce the studio guest them where we get now this Friday edition of the program Good Morning Salone. We get Dr. Julius Spencer. They can share experience with listeners them, talk about the benefits and advantages and disadvantages and something them within inside the Public Elections Bill. Good morning and welcome to the program Good Morning Salone, Dr. Spencer.
Good morning. Thank you.
And we also get the Minister of Information and Communication, Mohamed Rahman Suare, from who begin discussing and within inside this bill. We not been get somebody from government specifically for council listeners them waiting at their certain position on different things and within inside this particular bill. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Mabel. Fambula in the morning.
All right, well, now we studio guest them now and the way we get on the program this morning. We want for can continue for talk about the different things them within inside the Public Elections Bill, and especially so we go for focus on issues them where the public don't express interest on since the discussion and debate starts in Parliament on the Public Elections Bill 2022. We don't listen to a report where Musa pulled na Parliament yesterday as to the position where the Parliament of Salone now as and continue for debates different issues and within the Public Elections Bill. But I come over to you, Dr. Julius Spencer, now you will start the discussion with this Friday morning. Let you just start for tell listeners and first the Public Elections Bill itself, for yourself being your bottom and know some of the things them where they inside the waiting now you take on the whole Public Elections Bill.
Well, first of all, I think say everybody for understand who side this bill come out. As far as I know, and I hope say parliamentarians themselves fully aware and don't do some research. As far as I know, 2018, after the 2018 election, we've been get beaucoup recommendation them where the election observer mission them been give to Salone for law we try for do for make sure say we election them in future go be freer, fairer and more transparent. I think say them get a total of our 111 recommendation them from different observer mission them Carter Center, Commonwealth, European Union, National Election Watch. Then put all the recommendation then there together. Then don't go through a process from 2018. Then don't get conference. Then don't get consultation. NEC then set up a task force for implement the recommendation them. Virtually all the political parties then represented in that task force day. You get all the election management bodies. You get different organizations the way they pan that task force. Then don't depend on discussion there. Out of the 111 recommendation them, they agree for accept and try for implement 100 and I think 103, then now 7 they not been agreed for implement. And now their recommendation, and they make up the bulk of the thing that we did in this election act. A couple of issues then we they raise I see Parliament don't reject 2 so far. Now the issue of for let people then resign 6 months if they receive money from the consolidated fund. Now 1 year you for resign before you're eligible for contest.
The Constitution.
Now then they propose for like reduce to 6 months. The other hand for make dual citizens, we get Salone and citizenship, eligible for contest for parliament and hold office as minister, etc., etc. That one and they say come up from the recommendations with the election observer mission they bring come. And then 2 in particular, for me, I'm very disappointed that then Simfo don't reject them today. And waiting that they say to me, I can always tell people and say, now life, now one great thing certain, and that now one day we go die. And the only thing that we certain in life. And pan politics, the only thing we certain that one day you not go in power. And that day no more certain pan politics. Now, unfortunately, I think say a lot of people then where they're in power, they're not they think but waiting then go look for see when they're not in a power. Now waiting and believe say for the wise then in a power, then in the push. Now take the issue of if we resign 12 months before election. That means a school teacher where then they pay government they subsidize, they pay in salary, or they get grant, the school they get grant from government. He get for resign from work 1 year before election. Waiting and they see. The one about citizenship. We're captain of our national football team now. Now Coca. Now dual citizen. He don't not only they play for Salone, captain of the team. But they tell her now say you can't be member of parliament because you get other nationality. But you accept them for can play for we. We again the captaincy of our national team. So for me, there are issues and they will for don't big past that now. We for able to move beyond Usa Obinde in the past and look to the future and try to make the whole point about the thing away the election observer mission and bring out. Now for try for increase access. Let more people then able for participate by election. Let more people then able for contest. Let more people then get access to call on the political power.
Okay.
But so I think say the election bill may not say anything they were bad.
Okay. Now, Doc, you mentioned about you say you disappoint at member of parliament them because they reject 2 of the recommendation them. Now, in this case, what do you think say member of parliament them for don't do in relation to what you just talked about? So?
Well, if we take the 12 months for reducing to 6 months, me not really able to understand what's in the problem with Andy. Because if we just think, but as the example where I give school teacher, and people there say they want for let you represent them. It means say if I don't resign from my work 1 year before the election, I will go leave. I go before they make a living. I go for feeding family and picking them. Civil servant, not to permanent sector, even anybody that high up. Somebody where they work in civil service, and people don't want for let them represent them. You get for resign 1 year before election. And say, let's reduce them to 6 months. Whose harm then they go pose to we as a people? Whose harm then they go pose to we elections and with parliament? Me not able for see them. So then, if you take the one about citizenship as well, but this is not 2021. Sierra Leone and then they be na the United States, for example. We don't hear Boku, Sierra Leone and the way they win election day, where na Salone they originally come out. In the UK, we don't get Salone, we don't be mayor of a major borough na UK. So we get access other side. But we don't want we own brother and sister them, where because they get other nationality, forget access na. If you look at waiting the diaspora they do for the economy, most people don't know. But waiting in the send can Salone. To waiting and they send for them family, etc. Contribution to their community. Iboku. But they say to them, well, you can only vote. they can't vote for you because you get other nationality. To me, really, if we don't go beyond that by now.
So saying as a country, if we don't go beyond that by now, one issue will come up from where the public elections bill gonna Parliament gets for do with concerns of consultation, because most of them say like you don't state nothing and we national conference been there say different people go discuss as to waiting never put inside the bill before you go reach a parliament. And this now one part this section the thing them wouldn't be talked about for move on from 12 months where people for where they take money from the consolidated fund for resign to 6 months when I income out from the consultative meeting them we being take place. So is it that the members of parliament not been too involved in that process there for no say, because the one waiting at the conference I believe been there for represent the public and they been express and view them. Is it that the members of parliament not been get enough consultation and lobby around the issues and they before they reach parliament?
I don't know. But one thing I know, the parliament get disadvantaged. In some countries, them parliamentarians then get researcher them where they work for them. Where then they pay from the national fund. Not to then they hire them personally, not to then they pay them personally. Government they pay for them. So then get staff where they do all them kind of research, we go give the advice. Anything where they can at parliament, they will get advice. They will give the advice, so them fully understand waiting at the issues. On this their issue there also, as I said, they don't go through a process from 2018 to now. And political parties, they're all represented in that task force day, where don't they look all the issues there. Now, for me, waiting are not clear. Sometimes the party they not been fully participate. But even if them they participate, sometimes they not brief them parliamentarian them properly. So them parliamentarian them may not be necessarily directly involved in all the discussion, and they probably don't know the process we don't go through.
All right, continue further with the program. Dr. Julius Spence idea this morning. We will continue for talk to more people, but the debates will continue in our parliament on the public elections bill 2022. The program, Good Morning Salone, they continue.
And inside the studios, we get the Minister of Information and Communication, Mohamed Rahman Soare, where himself they can give the view of government concerning the public election bill and the Constitution Amendment Act of 2002. We member of Parliament, them they look inside. Good morning, Mr. Minister. Welcome to Radio Democracy.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Yes.
I know say you don't the follow up the debates where they around the public election bill and same way so the Constitution Amendment Act of 2002. As government, what do you want to think about this?
Well, this is a debate where I don't follow with keen interest. I think so we don't get preliminary conversations around NIASO, at the same studio, and other media outlets there. I mean, not a country for they will forget debate on national issues. The only thing we now the slight downside to the engagements there, now the fact say will begin. You know, the people then waking one debate, they not they follow the debate at that time, right? Now only way they at enactment stage, not say they see everybody they come from the woodworks, you know. This process, like Dr. Spencer mentioned, the process we born out of recommendations for many years. Not to this election no more will bring this recommendation. For over 20 or so years, from when we begin hold elections, we don't get recommendations from various observer groups there. It's also good for note say one of the only recommendations we don't act on prior to this one, now where they may make right to access information a requirement by one of the observer missions. And let understand the context. That one day, now one of them they will get RAIC, right to access information commission. You know, after several election cycles don't come and go, then they make recommendations. Nobody not act on them. So, following the 2018 elections, right, we'll get about 13 recommendations, 111 recommendations, just like what Dr. Spencer mentioned. That is all too historical now. But the important point is, this government say, look, the electoral recommendations here, electoral and legal recommendations here, we need for implement them, right? Because it's now many people there, you know, local and international observers there, cumulative observation sheet this. So we'll begin for move on forward. So now government bring their recommendations here forward. So definitely will support everything within inside.
Okay.
Yes. Because not so everything and go reject to 7 were outrightly rejected. Right? One day we be indecisive about, then whether to carry for move on elections day or what have you. You know, that one day aim, you know, it's probably still a debate ongoing. Right? But on the 7 they will be reject. 103 of the recommendations would all agree for go forward with. And this day na various documents there, it did not the Public Elections Act, it did not political parties regulation act, all in various formats. Some of them did not the constitutional review process.
All right, consultation one way came very important in any thing we get for do it. We law them, and one of the member of parliament them raised concern about consultation concerning the issue where they come up. How governments don't they engage some of the member of parliament there for let them understand some of the importance of the law they are we presently in a parliament.
Okay, so like I mentioned, this now various observations people with a non point at various times. They don't tell you, but an implementation committee with them don't set up, a task force, we be known day, we represented all elections management bodies. Then people there, then get pre-legislative meetings there, part of the normal cycle for enact a law. You get pre-legislative hearings there with members of parliament there. So consultations have been done. Draft instructions there will bring people then from all walks of life. Now being to money, including I don't say this before, the professional association where NSSI belong to, political party leaders, they make statement day. After that, we'll do several consultations. But it not be enough in the opinion of the speaker. Fair enough. So like what they say, consultations have happened here. One of the one I mentioned, so for example, the pre-legislative hearing. However, even after the enactment, then will continue for talk about it. So it does not end at enactment. So,
Mr. Minister, like you say, government aware of all waiting the inside the Public Elections Bill 2022, the Parliament now, and on in support of all of them.
Yeah.
And we listened to Dr. Spencer earlier, where one part in concern we get now one of the things we dey inside this bill, we member of parliament them not agree for. We now for the civil servants them where they get pay from the consolidated fund resign 12 months the one for contest any position or election.
Yeah.
And the one that we've been going at the conference being agreed them for pushing down to 6 months, but member of parliament then say them for maintain the 12 months. What's our government's position on this?
No, I'm not talk government position on this. I talk my own position, personal position on this. In the first place,
yeah, here as the Minister of Information.
Okay, no. So let me make a slight distinction. First, I don't make it clear. See, everything within say now Attorney General can go. So that means it don't pass through cabinet. Now government position. So
now we don't agree for this. We won't forget on our response.
No. So me, I'm very disappointed. I told Doc in line. Here is a country who want for achieve the milestones the other country don't achieve. But now for take the step with them, the bold step they wouldn't don't take, forget to side and it's very disappointing. Again, I understand now that in the spirit of self-preservation, even if for selfish reasons, self-preservation. Like the teacher really, we don't do community service for long years, and people they want you want that's exactly the trick. MP they don't want like for don't left. They say 6 months you go to still get salary, you get bullet for go campaign and that's a very personal reason that I'm disappointed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Continue for the way to inside the program. In name Mohamed Rahman Swarina, the Minister of Information and Communication, inside the program this morning for talk about the bill we presently in a parliament.
When it comes to studio guests, and we continue for talk about the Public Elections Bill 2022. We get Dr. Julius Spencer at the studio and the Minister of Information and Communication. We don't begin to talk about some of the things and where inside the Public Elections Bill, and we don't tell listeners them, remind them for usai the thing within inside this bill come out. And we continue for look at the issues here. But from where this bill reach our parliaments, popular amongst the thing that all way people on the discuss gets to do with the PR system, where they inside the constitution, where they optional to the one-party system where they practice right now. Well, for so many people, they yet to understand what in this PR system they about. And if you go for work for Salone, waiting at some of the benefits, advantage, and disadvantages them. And you, Dr. Spencer, now one person where they don't work under the PR system, but just start for tell listeners and first explain to them how the PR system sound like compared to this of the one-party system where we practice now at Salone.
I mean, the one, not the one party.
First past
the post. Sorry, the first past the post
system. No post anywhere.
First of all, I want to make clear, say, I don't begin to talk about PR system from 2008, over a decade ago. And the reason why it strike me, say, we need for change to PR system, now because I serve under President Kaba, we could get to power through a PR system. The election we Kaba win, we make him president, now be national list proportional representation system. 2002, after me left government 2001, they again use PR system for election, but this time they broke and down small, can down to district level. So we get district party list for the election. Now, I all 66 or the 67 this year. I don't see election in a Salone under one party, under multi-party. I don't see how the thing progress, the violence, all the enmity way election they bring. And what strike me more, now because during the two election in 1996 and 2002, even though 1996 the country been still there at war, the elections been peaceful. The only one that will be in simple one for create some violence, will be create some violence. Now be the one that will not be want election to take place in any case. The rebel them. People then say so demand them. With them in the mark people there and where they come up vote, say you and you don't go vote and cut them finger. 2002, the election been peaceful. 2007, we go back to the winner take all system and the constituency-based election. Violence begin back. 2012, violence. 2018, violence. So from 2008, me don't begin say, look, let we change the system we use for elect people then. Some philosophers say, if you do the same thing over and over and you expect a different result, now madness standing. You can't do the same thing, they expect the result for different. You for find out a way for them so that you could get different results. Now for me, we don't try PR twice and we not get any real problem. The only issue where people in the race will get some substance, now that under the party list system, you within a constituency, you're not go able to identify the particular person where they represent you. Because now list, and not all the people in the vote, yes, for that list day, but they're not a vote for individual them. Although in a way they still they vote for individual them, because about that they didn't have the list go large to make people vote for that party day. So now the only for me now the parliamentarian them, then constituents then see them as them breadwinner. If they begin sick, they want to go to parliamentarian. Then they get married, parliamentarian will contribute. They want put bondo. Parliamentarians for contribute. So you get a lot of pressure on parliamentarians them. Me believe so for find way for insulate parliamentarians them from that kind of pressure.
Okay. Now Doc, you mentioned about people get married, they go to member of parliament them. But again, you go there during campaign with member of parliament them, they go tell the people them say at the bill for A, B, and C, which of course we know to the rule now for make law. Things say the member of parliament them, then self get issued during the campaign where they go in different constituency them.
Yes, but waiting make all that they happen. Now waiting people they don't believe now, say for happen. They don't lost sight of waiting is supposed to be. Parliamentarians they now believe say a popularity. You forever for do this, then go ask you what you don't do for your people, then we won't let them vote for you. You don't build school, you don't build road, you don't do this, you don't help them, you don't pay school fee, etc. Now that people then they expect. So the parliamentarians themselves, now that then they go take for sale themselves. But for me, all of that they cause problem for we. The parliamentarians they know they really focus on the thing they want them for do. We basically now for make laws, for review laws, for monitor what government they do, for see that then they do what supposed for do something the way they happen, government they do something way then go look the law and say okay some loophole and this law change that. Now that parliamentarian then for they do. Development issues now local government supposed for the handle them. But again, they not properly devolve the functions to local government. Something in the way and say you give me the cow, you hold the rope. Now then kind of thing and they happen. So we need for review the whole thing. And if I come back to the proportional representation, you get different kind of proportional representation. We don't practice two. When the national list, party list, and the district-based party list, the closed list system, you get waiting and call even the open list, where people then get more say in other than they go na the list. Me believe say we for create our own system. We not get for take waiting other people then don't do like how they don't do entire from people. Let we look waiting go suit we. Create our own system. Okay. If people then say okay, well one forget to say that they represent we, fine. Why party then not go do party primaries at district level?
So that brings me to the next question, Doc. This proportional representation system we talk about, you don't get you get the opportunity to experience both system, the first part the post and the proportional representation system we explain both. So but Salone, everybody knows in a democratic state, and one concern where people get for this PR system gets for do with whose opportunities smaller parties and independent candidates them go get if Salone begin practice back the proportional representation system.
Now that go open them out to them more. If we look other them in a parliament 1996 and 2002, we get smaller party than in a parliament. Now, basically, the two main party them APC and SLP then they dominate. The whole reason for proportional representation and for broadening representation, for make more people then get a say in the governance. So we can able to achieve.
All right.
So the 30% quota for women, we can even able forget quota for disabled, etc., youths and so on.
All right. Continue for the with at the studio, Dr. Julius Spencer. We dey continue for look at senior we dey come out now the 2022 public elections bill we dey now parliament.
The program Good Morning Salone still continue, and still inside the studios we get the Minister of Information and Communication, Mohamed Rahman Souare, as we don't discuss about the PR system and other issues them. Before we come to Doc, you may talk about how people then for resign and same way so member of parliament then concern about the two same issues. As government, what do I think about that?
Well, so and it's all the thing nowadays says document now government don't cry and go there. We think in a very progressive legal electoral reforms and then make government cry and go there. We wish Parliament being see the rationale. The world is opening up. Now can sit down so. Now free time yeah, we glad to say we possibly not win DV. Yeah, they go get other citizenship. We glad yeah, let it go. It's the same for we. Now that same person, right? Now we don't want to get opportunity for for go parliament. I also know for a fact say some MP then say something now people then way they abroad go don't help them relations, friends, good one then for go parliament. Then they contribute to national development in a big way. Now other countries really Salone they benefit all around it, but we can't pay that for some reason. But that's within the realm of parliament. Now and they make a law. We the executive, led by His Excellency President Bill, now progressive legislation this be one for go forward, but Parliament on their responsibility. They don't say ABC, they don't reject them. So, but we put on there because we don't say progressive. This campaign we don't on for do our citizens, then for get rights, for do this, that, for go Parliament. So we don't do what we don't do.
So that brings me to other issue inside. We will begin to talk to Dr. about the PR system.
Yeah, the PR system.
All this while it don't be optional to this first party post in the Constitution, but in the people don't really talk about them since we begin practice this first party post back. Why the PR system seem for the come to light this time?
So Dr. Spencer don't mention say if they do the same thing all the time, they get the same results. You forget everything. I may not go for talk because they will take out of context. You get everything. So as Sierra Leoneans, we don't experiment with both systems already. We don't see now say with the PR system, Poku benefit the doc allude to some, may say they give some additional. Somebody like Dr. Julius Spencer Wasabi, they say they can 67 now. Ordinarily, Dr. Spencer not supposed to go offer himself for the rigors of elective office right now at this stage of his life. Nobody calls out. That's more thing we don't keep aside. One go begin take and give people, then we go chopper and then not vote for an end. But he has a wealth of experience. You get several Dr. Spencers around this country. So they don't serve for national and international organizations there, civil servants there. Ordinarily, they're not going to for offer themselves because they don't want to cause and all the intrigues of elective office. But if now the PR system, because they don't get experience, they know they are already made. Now contribution no more now national contribution they want for make. That kind of person there, you put her on list, and they go there, they serve to the very best of your ability. You know they want build host again, you know they want send PK abroad again. They don't been there, done that, seen everything. Yeah. So the PR system. Yeah, now that kind of situation we go make sure say then kind of people then they get an opportunity, and this is what is good for this country. So if you go parliament, your very first time, you want your first motoka, you want your first host, you want your first waiting, this kind of they make arrangement for. So that's one good advantage. I'll continue.
If you say that is good for the country, so is it that governments get planned for using PR system for 2023 elections? Well,
we'll come to that bridge, we'll cross them. It already did not the Constitution. You said mention section 38, 38 G not the Constitution. It did not the Constitution. That will be for government to do. The one day, His Excellency in prerogative for proclaimer. Yeah, I not go second guess them. If you want to do one with the appropriate time reach, you go make that proclamation day. But me, I teach government for long years, so I left university in '94, and this not be one topic way interesting. Oladipo HB Ven do essentials of government, I think. It do a good deep at them. It go interesting no more for refresher. Let people that engage with that one is more. It's very basic, but it not quite an eye opener.
So what's the popular discussion among the inside the government, right, within the government right now pertaining to this PR system?
Government
introducing it or let it just left?
Government not live in a bubble. Government are part of the people that want to serve now. Government are part of the same society. Yeah, this is topical. We are politicians, we are national leaders. So we say they discuss them.
What is seem for they come out from this discussion when I don't get
around the PR amongst system? Amongst me PRs there, we believe say the PR system very good for national cohesion. We don't mention a situation say me como Kenema, como Pujan. You find out certain places in there, for example, it's a passive what they call SLPP stronghold. But I also aware say that the community where they live, the APC they put substantial votes there. So if we go by a district PR, for example, district block system, we then may experiment in 2002, right? the district block system, they make sure, say, the APC, for example, will be represented. It's going to be very exciting, very interesting for see that many man wear that in black, that in red gown, they speak for the APC in the parliament. So you find out, say now, development will know no political boundaries because it will be represented everywhere. Okay. We really think, say, they need to that. We have seen by-elections and they come and go now. By-elections almost similar to a declaration of war. The level of violence, unbridled violence, right? All man, the pulling, last this, that. With the PR system, there are already succession plans in place. Okay. List, now that make the list system, the number 1 or the number 2 can step up to the plate, all length in the. Apart from cost, apart from promoting national cohesion, it will also help reduce the temperature, the national temperature. We can really boil over, in terms of by-elections, because it's become a do or die affair. All right. This country also will deserve peace, will deserve stability. Okay. We want for left behind a country who can enable grow up in peace, security, and stability, and grow up for realize their fullest potential. All right, Mr. So PR system, any day, whether I'm in a government or not, I'm a loud cheerleader for the PR.
Mr. Minister, you talk about the PR system go carry with national cohesion.
Yeah.
We say all, tribe will come together, but we get in a parliament, we say, Limbaman, the SLPP, and we get all tribal, they represent different parties. Them, things say this and national cohesion.
So how did we get there? How did we get there? How many people then will get admitted to hospitals? How many people then get the scars or the wounds there? Who know the elections and they will lead to that process. So we sought a PR system, right? You can see, I listen to the arguments where my professor bring forth, say, people that are not directly involved. I disagree. They talk to the National Secretary General of my own party, the SLPP. I say, look, you still can get the people that are involved in your constituencies. Then, for example, get them for the primaries. What they don't vote for the people there, on a ranker. Would I get the highest number? Would I get second? So the people can still be brought along. Let nobody not say with PR system the people they know they know they participate in the process. That is not correct.
Now, concern with member of parliament then back get again because according to
I just want
section 38, it said they for use the PR system when they announce election results. We constituency they not they, but in this case we get constituency them and we don't get date for election. Things say
who is interpreting now? I don't listen to various lawyers.
You not think say this could go against the constitution of Salone?
You know how then they call that lawyer then they call her opinion. Now somebody else in opinion and so opinions on this matter very, very, very diverse, very varied.
So it's in
inside the constitution.
Any lawyer you give 10 lawyers.
Where Salone go practice that system?
My dear sister, lawyer then. Like what doctor then they diagnose.
So Mr. Minister, what's in the law say now?
No. The law, they give His Excellency the rights for do that proclamation with the time reach. Yeah.
And if for do the proclamation,
I honestly want to concentrate on these other issues.
Get the constituencies then done.
Yes.
But already we get established constituencies.
Okay. Then one lawyer, Adi Bende, yesterday they talk anything and they bring other lawyer back and I can't give opinion. Hello, no, I will get this 3 years in a lawyer, they no more able to talk this thing. Not basic English it is. Not basic English is. You don't have to be a lawyer to understand that. So I want to focus on the other issue. That one is a presidential prerogative. What can the president will take the appropriate decision at the right time. But I honestly want to talk about things who they admire and Salone, who no one for do. Yes, but not the right thing who they admire. You talk about the 30% women representation at parliament.
Minister, before we go to that 30% women's representation at parliament, in as much as you say Salone one for do, thing they will admire and thing they will not admire one for do. But back to the issue of the PR system.
Okay, so
why I want to let you clear the air because we don't get different people and we don't can discuss their opinions as well around the issues here. But it clear again at the constitution, say for practice this PR system, we know Salone gets constituencies established. Now that's how you go for practice or date not date for election. But as it is now, existing constituencies and so why government for even to think of talking about PR system?
Okay, so Lawi, now that you don't push me, I listen to you speakers that will be there yesterday. Like you don't give me stark choices. There are very stark choices here. Government don't just conduct a midterm population census. right? There are clear opportunities. If they want to delimit constituencies, then go use the most recent figures then for do that delimitation, yeah, or then go PR. That is a choice for government to make.
So,
yeah?
So in this case,
that
now
is a choice for government.
Choice.
Well, when that time the regional government make a choice, I go Canada back and talk about that. Or you go away from the power, so then me go Canada a rob mot param. Or you go see Keke or a member of my team for car rob mot param.
Right.
But why the additional reason why I say this PI are good, we'll get a country will get over 50% of women there. Now I think around 13% women there will get in the parliament. Rwanda get around 61 or thereabout. Would they admire Rwanda all the time? Every Salone person, they can also be called Rwanda, would they admire them? One na bold steps then take. So they say, with this PR, the 30% female representation what them on they ask for. Now only PR they will make you get her. Now only PR they will make you get her. So important for the women and progressive women, yeah, for support the PR system. Just if government choose for go down that path.
Continue for the with me at the studio, Minister of Information and Communication, Mohamed Rahman Swari. The program Good Morning Salone they continue. We still get to studio guest them. We come over to Dr. Julius Spencer, and as I've been earlier asked the Minister of Information and Communication, because in the come out from government and all this discussion around the PR system, people really want to know what's in our government's position on that, if not then they push for to switch over to the PR system or not. Now that's make up the ask the minister for explain to the listeners them. But as we continue the discussion, like I've been saying, you don't witness the PR system. You've been fortunate for work under that system there, and also the first past the post way Salone the practice right now, according to the minister, is say we reach now the bridge whether or not Salone will go for switch, will go for cross, and because it's saying that the president in prerogative power than for decide who side the country for go. But also section 34(4) of the constitution explain clearly how the president could get for switch if he get for switch, because he not get power for nullify constituencies then based on the constitution. So back to you, is it timely for switch to the PR system, taking into consideration the legal provisions them way they inside the constitution at this time, especially for the 2023 elections?
As far as me concerned, we don't switch to PR system long ago. So if we do this 2023, me go gladly. The whole point about the process, we get for go through the process. If government decides, say, want for switch to the PR system, there's obviously a process. And we get for go through that process. The president and go declare, say, whatever, when they go to PR system. I assume, say, if they do that, it will take into consideration waiting then at the constitution. And I believe, say, president go make a declaration where they violate the constitution. As the minister say, lawyer then can give different opinion. May not particularly get an opinion on waiting the constitution say and how the process for go, because me not a lawyer. My own position now on the usefulness of the PR system. Whether we implement it now, we implement our next election, or whenever we implement them, as long as the discussion on PR they come up, me day for proportional representation, because you get both advantages. If we talk about national cohesion, if we look at the minister talk about the kind of people they're waiting now, if we look at the Parliament 1996 and 2002, yeah. We go say we've been get about the best parliament that
absolutely
because of the people that have been in our parliament. No disrespect for the current members of parliament, but we will be in the observe. We know say 1996 and 2002 we've been get really good parliament. The debate them get a lot of substance. Now,
what about now, though?
Yeah, I should say yeah, which I see. No, that's which I see.
So I'm putting a
no man, I want to put exactly. I know they can criticize parliament. Now, if we look at what in PR they do, they create opportunity for a lot more people and forget to say waiting they happen. And I think say one of the mistakes they make with a limit onto parliamentary elections. As far as me concerned, if I go down to council elections,
of course,
because for me now more of the problem they say. You got 4 people in the contest for ward election na council. One person get 40%, other get 20%, other get 30%, other get 10%. They only get 40% and win. When it comes to the ward committee, 9 they determine whether they didn't award committee. But you know, now only 40% of the people that they represent. The other 60%, they're not going to no say. How we go get cohesion with that kind of system? The winner take all system don't make politics don't become a do or die affair. Because people then believe now say you either forget dinner government or you posting for dinner government for let better follow you. And if we continue along that pathway, it not go change.
But in as much as you talk about the good thing about the PR system, the one major concern from the public gets to do with procedures and legality of the whole thing. Because even if it gets benefits them to the country at large and the advantage and Bokupa's disadvantage, but also procedures and legality for timing of this kind of discussion. Now, one way people get concerned, but say not timely for this particular discussion for come up at this time because we are heading into elections 2023 when about a year from now. Is it timely for get this kind of discussion at this time?
Me don't begin the discussion in 2008. So for me, timeliness not an issue.
What about procedures and legality?
Obviously, I not go support anything we not follow correct procedure or we illegal. As far as me concerned, the process for each day, the one they will get from take that decision, they then get for follow the process. Whatever the process is. My own position, now I believe say we for don't use PR system long before now. So for me, my own position is we need for move to PR system. How we reach there, when we reach there, and not for determine that day. But my own position is for me, PR system now we need. I even convinced, say if we go to the 2023 election under this system, the violence go worse past 2018. It go worse past the previous one then, because more and more people them desperate.
Doc, now, as you don't talk about the benefit about the PR system, so you don't start for talk about since. And my colleague asked you about timeliness, procedures, and one way member of parliament them concern about, because the reason, one of the reasons then we then raise that the reason why former President Kabame used the PR system not because of women get issued them constituencies and nominate, and presently we get the one there. What differences you think say go bring if finally we get for use the PR system?
What differences in what sense?
Meaning if we use the PR system now, what differences it go how it's done, which we use presently?
Well, I think say I don't mention some of them, but more they. We they talk about national cohesion, we they talk about peace, we they talk about development. We're not able to focus on national development issues because we defect, but Uda for the power. Uda for eat pan this national cake. Me want eat panam, you want eat panam, all my want eat pan the national cake, but we believe say some people the way they get power then they monopolize the eating of the national cake. Now, if you look, the whole system of the practice now, I don't they say consistently, waiting man and left giwi, now with the practice in some way. We're not really modifying for suit we own situation and we own customs and traditions. PR system, we get now 80 countries in the world they practice some form of PR system or the other. The one the way they practice first past the post and less than the one the way they practice PR system in the world. Now, if PR system get all them problems, there are some people and they imagine, they're not been for the practice. And you can look at most of the countries that they practice PR system, then peaceful. Now, how we go for focus on national development issues? When government, they focus on how the politician and the government, they focus on how they go win the next election. Then no one lost power. The one that way not in power, then they focus on waiting them for do, for pull down and the low weekend. And so we get a lot of dissension, we get a lot of divisiveness, we get a lot of enmity with the build up. And it get worse. We know say some time ago, under Pakaba, the government when we serve, cabinet being a minister them from Boku political party them. Some people say, oh, that's because I've been Pakaba. But the election have been PR system, and people in the parliament may come up from different parties them. And Pakaba being concerned for where we get peace and stability. So now I make it do what you need to do. Any work. Now, when we go back to the single constituency, whatever, we see how the thing don't degenerate. Now, if we want for pull we mind, pan this fet pan election business, let we get other system. We're going to make opportunity for everybody for participate. All many voice could be heard. From local government election, the example that we don't give. If you get people, the person will win get 40%, the next person get 30%, person get 20%, somebody get 10, whatever. They all get a say. The call and the ward committee, they all involve and determine who that they didn't at the ward committee. So the 60% we're under the current system not get no say, then self go get a say. Then they bring cohesion in society. And that's some of what they argue for.
So back to me question what be asked about procedures and legality. What will be your advice right now to authorities them where if this get for work for the country or not? Members of parliament again get a big role for play. What thing you go say to members of parliament at this stage because already the building a parliament and then they continue for debate. What thing you go say to the members of parliament regarding this issue we get for the PR system we don't cause a lot of debates? Is it advisable for members of parliament, for example, Greece, we go to and back, or we wait for other election where sometimes Salone will get constituency by then? What you go advise to them?
Well, I don't think say the issue of whether they go to proportional representation or not don't count up yet. I think the elections bill.
It is part of the elections bill. Reference the term.
But then based on the constitution, waiting in at the constitution, now a reference. You know, say for next election we they go to proportional representation. That's not in at the bill. And we don't point out say the section 38 as you say, now deal with proportional representation. Me not believe so don't reach the 8 for let that decision they be made. As I say, procedures get for be followed, the law get for be abided by. We get for go by the law. Whatever the law say, I say again me not a lawyer. So me not for interpret the law. But for me, the whole question of proportional representation, we don't let safe for move to proportional representation. When we move to proportional representation, not to me they determine. I not get to say in that matter day. But me they try for make people that understand what in really proportional representation mean and what in the benefits you go bring to we as a people and as a nation. The question as to whether they go to proportional representation for the next election or not, I not get to say pandandy.
All right, so before we come to the Minister of Information and Communication, let I just make listeners and get your opinion quickly about the national identification number. When I want to see the public elections bill is seek for inside this bill so, and the national identification number not to be part of seeing them where people and forget where you want for register for votes in election, but this bill within a parliament they propose say people forget national identification number before they go on the register for votes in the next election. What's your take on that?
Well, my own knowledge about this national identification number is that before the last election, NCRAS, that's their name, they begin this registration exercise. Then tell we that NDC, that whole process they now forget a color national, identify nationals across the board, all ages. And out of that thing the way they go do, now they then go get the call and the list for who that they qualify for votes in election. The idea from what me understand is that then go they update them. People then somebody will all 12 now, when 18, then go move up to eligibility for vote. Now, but that process there as far as I know not complete. The time we register, maybe one for vote, so me register at the time where them they register people then for vote. Me wife in not be the term for register that anybody register later, instead don't get number. So me not really see waiting at the issue. If people and afraid say for is that number they go disenfranchise some people them, let them present the evidence. If not go disenfranchise anybody, me not see waiting at the issue really.
Okay, Doc, you talk about evidence. One of the member of parliament, them deputy leader for the NGC party, one of the evidence they were getting at that NCR not get the capacity for do such process during the 2023 election.
Well, me don't know how we get that information.
Because now 4 years we don't do so people are not get national ID card. It mentions say if 4 years the people are not able to get national ID card, now we election, them go come, then go able, for give number to people then.
No, but I don't think say then they ask for national ID card now. Me I get me paper. where I go register, where my national identification number dey. If you want driving license, all that thing, and you get for get that number there now. So they don't begin for use them. Now, for me, the question is that process we then go through, then capture the majority of the population, would I then left out? Me no know. The question about the capacity of NCRE and not NCRE, they determine the voter register. NANEC. So NANEC get for determine how then they get the voter register. The whole process for register. Now one big exercise. Now if they already get this database, me not see waiting at the problem for use them. Now the question as to whether then for use national identification number as a prerequisite for let you able for vote, I don't know.
All right.
I don't get an opinion on that.
Okay. And name now Dr. Julius Spencer. And then inside the program this morning for give an idea about the PR system, waiting at the advantage and disadvantage about the process.
All right, the program Good Morning Salone, they continue. Dr. Julius Spencer, they're about to leave the studio. But before you go, Dr. Julius Spencer, I just want to follow up on the issue we get for do with the PR system. So because different people would understand their opinion and other public opinion we don't get on this issue gets for do with if at all Salone for go back to the PR system, there should be a referendum for let the people agree say they want to go back to the PR system. What do you take on this?
Not to entrench clause. You don't need referendum. Any lawyer will tell you that they lie.
Minister, just
as far as I
know,
not to entrench clause in the Constitution. PR not been in the 1991 Constitution originally. But now when they want to introduce them, then they put other clause the Parliament pass them. And this talk about constituency not been there. We been get parliamentarian in 2002. Now then vote, now then pass that section in the act. So the question about whether constituency do or constituency not do, I mean, I don't know. But as far as me concerned, the process I insist for be followed. Whatever the process is, where the constitution prescribe, get for be followed, move to whatever system we want for use for the election. And basically, I go end by saying, let we look this whole question of PR and the first past the post as with man then we say dispassionately. Let not bring emotion into them. Let not bring suspicion, too much suspicion into them. Because I believe say a lot of people na suspicion now they drive the way then they argue for or against the PR system, particularly against the PR system. They not fully understand the system. They not fully understand. They're suspicious. What we think government want to do. I don't know. Trust not in our society now, across the board. Particularly trust for politicians. Thank God me not a politician.
So you don't think that are more reason why, if government is think for introduce this, then give they need for give people more time, let them able for understand what's in the debate.
Well, me believe say this discussion for don't deepen now, and I don't know really why people are not being they pay attention.
We don't deepen.
People are not being they pay attention. As I say, me don't start this discussion in 2008. Most people are not they pay attention. I think say now because they believe say government get some ulterior motive. Now me call man don't grab now.
What's another motive there?
I mean I know. I don't know.
Dr. Julius Spencer, because they say you know what's the motive and all. I go for at the beginning. Thank you to you, Dr. Julius Spencer. We can the program this morning. We come over to the Minister of Information and Communication, Dr. Spencer. They left the studio now, and as I asked Dr. Spencer, so many people need more explanation around the issue of the PR system. Why now it done so popular with Salone the head into elections, and as Dr. Spencer don't say, suspicion there about something fishy where governments they hide we make on a one for push the PR system on the people. So for clear the air, like I don't they ask you, but you're able to tell people they make clearly whether or not government want for switch over to the PR system.
How come?
You think say this 1 year we don't left for the election, do for let Salone switch to a PR system?
Well, so
consultation, procedures and legality.
Okay, so that one then I make we get the office of the Attorney General. They go accordingly advise in case government want for adopt the proportional representation as per section 38 of the Constitution. So we'll come to that point. His Excellency go seek the advice and go do the necessary things. talking about waiting if government, me as it don't me say don't live through all 10 years then they in 1996, may not be young adults, I been not left university at the hook, right? 2002. So I lived through all them period and they talk. I also lived through the one party tyranny, yeah. Then I see then transition to multi-party democracy. And I see the PR system at work, right? So now that advantage and the way me don't see. And as a teacher, as a former teacher, the advantage here where the PR gets as against this winner take all approach, na any media for talk about. So, for example, you get a situation where 3 parties then go contest now, so one party go get 60%, the other party go get 30%, the other party go get 10%, then go get seats there in proportion to the number of votes then we then get. So you get what you're supposed to get. But under the current arrangement, elect more people then vote against you than you get, as long as you win by even a slight margin of 1, and now you get the seat. We think say it's not good enough. More people then need for their around the decision making table. We need for spread out. More political parties than need for get an opportunity. More individuals than need for get an opportunity. So the PR does just that. When they talk about women's representation over the years, if we left hand to the devices, let it play out ordinarily. Boku women and some of the best women probably, they're not gonna come forward because they're not gonna want that dog fight that politics has become. Right? They're not going to want that course. They're not going to want all that. But this kind of arrangement, they make sure, say, we're able to get serious with gender mainstreaming. 30% this time around, Rwanda get about 61%. We admire Rwanda. But now then, no more than proactive and audacious step there, they able to make our country say go Rwanda.
Mr. Minister, document mention about the timeliness and same so you say we don't start the process, but education to the public very important in all of this. Going forward, how wanna go raise awareness to people for letting themselves know waiting like some of the thing them with this bill get.
Any country we know the debates, that country they know they go far, but progress and development. A good who they get in debates there, right? The people that want to come to the debate with ulterior motives. The people that want to come to the debate with appealing to base sentiments there. The people that want to come to the debate with suspicion, I want for 10 land. And they invite each and any one of them. We really want an honest debate.
What are the people in the Mr. Minister? What are the people in the we get suspicious?
But I don't know yesterday. You now host at the Macaulay yesterday. And they said they don't believe say this government. And laws are not made for government. Laws are made for anybody who can. Right? Laws then are for the people of Sierra Leone, they make laws there, not of government and the target. Right? So we're gonna forget a basis for judge people there. So me they say this government, if we come to that decision, if the president ever thinks a worthy for go down the PR path, ain't go do the proclamation on the advice of the Attorney General. But as an individual, any day give me PR over this one, this current first past the post. Because one of the reasons why analysts there all over they indicate one of the reasons why Africa democracy gets shallow roots today, now this winner take all approach. So the PR they address that one day. And I see,
So like you say, the fear in all of this now that this winner takes all, the PR system way before gets over the winner takes all situation. Is government anyway the way government is scared say elections might not be in their favor, we make this PR system go get opportunity for them for participate if other governments come?
This government, President being government, now opposition have been there with all the state machinery skilled are against him. They still win the elections, right? And most of the MPs then win the elections with 20,000, 15,000, 18,000. You know the MPs in the parliament, they won by 2,000, 1,500, all that. No. We can win the elections by any means, any day, no matter the electoral system. But we are saying that a legacy where they work for Sierra Leone, where they help entrench with democracy, where they help forgive more people than voices, where they promote national cohesion, where they help mainstream women, and where they reduce ethno-regional violence and tension.
Government they push for this system.
No, if government eventually gets to that, there are enough reasons. There are enough reasons, enough justification. Government has not come to that decision, like I say, but it's good to have an enlightened debate on this matter.
All right, so as to the wrap up the program now, whose message you left to listeners, especially for this issue of PR system, where the debate still continue?
Well, so let the debate continue. I mean, very important. The country is good for we collective enlightenment, right? Like I say, let people they ask questions there. They're very important, so that a few scaremongers there, where they get the opportunity for can sit down there, not go derail progressive thinking. This country here for make progress. Like I say, if you ask me today, because no more woman and go get opportunity for get 30% around the decision making table.
They already na the woman them bill within.
Yeah, it na the woman and bill. So that one day, it go dey na that bill dey. But if you not get an electoral system where they able to be a conduit, that one is a problem. I know that for a fact.
All right.
I have been around, I've seen it. I'm a political analyst as well. Now I know the way the other cap.
All right, many thanks to journalists. As you say, if need day for let the president announces Salone for switch to PR system, we will continue the debates as and when necessary, because you say we reach a bridge, we will cross the. Thank you, Ikan, at the studio this morning, Mr. Minister.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, this edition of the program, Good Morning Salone Golefuna. Plenty thank you to the production team, Michael Sambola and Alex Lawrence Koroma. That then produce the program, DJ Lava, give you technical support. Moses Kavra, make us real live on Facebook. Until then, Mabel Kawadi, so get yourself a wonderful weekend. Don't forget, rain and they come now and not come out under heavy rain. Make sure say you in a cobra. Make sure say you eye on you picking them, especially wearing the cam. So till then, goodbye.
And not forget for listening to the program Inside Parliament, where they come to you tomorrow Saturday. Stay tuned to Radio Democracy, and we want for wish we listeners a very happy weekend. My name is Usman Kamara. Bye bye.